Quick Slants is presented by your local New England Honda dealers.
Ladies and gentlemen, huh? It's a big win for your New England Patriots over the weekend. What am I talking about? No yeah buts? I'm talking about the fact that the Patriots, after a summer of great discontent led by myself, Phil Perry, and many others in the New England media, and some of you too, they made some progress on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, they did. We're going to get to that throughout the program. Here's some other stuff we're going to get to during said program. It's the game plan. I still haven't pointed to the right side. There it is. Everybody go long? Is that what the Patriots are doing now offensively? You can dance if you want to. That is number 2. Also, we're going to do a Tom Brady wellness check with our guy Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times. Of course, we'll also have a poll and trivia and so much more. But the most important thing now is to bring in our buddy Kay Adams from the West Coast. Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. You had a spring in your step. I'm glad you're declaring victory on this win, as no New England Patriot fans are doing. I'm also glad that you are trying out to be a supporting character in a movie remake of the board game Clue with that smoking jacket.
Oh, Mr. Plum with a candlestick in
the billiard room.
Kay, can we take people behind the scenes for just 1 sec? Can we bring Kay's shot up full again real quick? Is this your apartment in...
This is my house. Look, okay. I'm such a grown-up.
Oh, you're a grown-up with a house.
No television, no nothing. You are on a soccer mom chair leaning into my living room.
Okay, we have to have some kind of a furniture sponsor somewhere that can help Kay out with her digs out in California. I'm sure there's furniture stores out there too. All right, no further ado, Kay. Glad to have you along. Let's hit the quick fire if we could.
Let's do it and play along, please, because me and Tom love when you do. And let's start with what you were talking about, these 50-50 balls. The Patriots get themselves a win, and Mac Jones talked about going downfield and taking some shots.
We've worked on that play through the offseason and 50-50 balls, and you know he's one of those guys that I put in the throw it up to him category, and he's going to make the play. So if it's one-on-one, I'll give him a shot, and obviously had time with the offensive line, and I think all of our receivers can do that. If they're one-on-one, I'm going to give them a chance. Kind of different philosophy, but that's what we need to do.
If they're one-on-one, we're going to give them a chance. Kind of a different philosophy. 100% correct. The Patriots have always been about trying to find the open man, trying to get leverage, trying to find matchups, get yourself open after the snap by reading the defense. Now, what's being indicated here is the opportunities to take shots and allow guys to go make athletic plays down the field is being embraced. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I think that too many teams were crowding the line of scrimmage and making it difficult for the Patriots to hit those underneath ones. But it remains to be seen, Kay, whether the Patriots have the outside skill position dynamism and Mac Jones. Dynamism. Let's go with that. Or they're explosive enough. And whether Mac Jones has the arm to get it done.
And we'll see that. I mean, I'll say against the Ravens, they've got such a banged up secondary. I'm absolutely going to start Nelson Aguilar in my fantasy team. Take those shots, Mac Jones, get it done. It looked effective against those Steelers. All right, here's a second quick fire. Rising in the East. Get this. AFC East has 3 leading wide receivers. You said it. Cheetah with close to 300 yards. Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen, of course, the connection for 2 touchdowns and close to 300 yards as well. And then Jalen Waddle, the dance sweeping the nation.
Okay. I think this follows nicely, too. Yep, you're doing it, too. All the kids are doing it. It's sweeping the nation, coast to coast. One of the interesting things, we talk about a Patriots offensive philosophy change. Here's your defensive philosophy change. Why were they able to hold down, to a degree, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Because they got faster on defense. And they're playing a little bit more zone. Don't let anybody get past you. Stephon Diggs, of course, he's with Buffalo. They have carved up the Patriots, so maybe you have to play a little bit more man, play a little further back against all these fleet wide receivers.
And that was Stephon Diggs without Gabe Davis, who was missing in that game. They still don't have Trey White back. They had Ed Oliver, Micah Hyde left in the third quarter of that game. Those Bills looking tough. All right, quick fire number 3, crisis watch. 0-2 teams. I mean, Patriot fans, you're not among them, so be glad and rejoice. But the Titans, my Bengals, woof. Panthers, Falcons. What are you looking at?
Well, to me, it's obviously the Titans and the Bengals are the ones who jump off the page at you. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, because sometimes no. It's the Raiders and the Titans are both winless at the moment, and they're going to see each other. So that's a huge matchup between those two teams with Vrabel and McDaniels. But those are teams that can't afford, especially the Raiders, to get too much too soon in the loss column so that they fall out of contention in the AFC West. I mean, you could almost make a contention already that they're playing for a wild card because it's going to be hard to make up any distance at all on those Kansas City Chiefs.
It's so true. Chiefs look great. Ravens look great if they can, get healthy, stay healthy. I'll say the Bengals, I talked to Chris Collinsworth about it today. It was so intriguing. Obviously, he's getting sacked in an unprecedented clip. He's on pace for 111 sacks this season. They switched up the offensive line. It was supposed to be improved. But Chris said it's on Joe Burrow. It's on the quarterback, face of the franchise. And he mentioned Tom Brady in his answer. He said Tom Brady got the ball out quick. Joe Burrow needs to do that. So I thought that sort of accountability was interesting to see from Chris Collinsworth, who, of course, knows that team and every team in and out. All right, last one for you. Yikes. Chicago, Justin Fields, fans, just listen.
It hurts more in the locker room than the Bears fans. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're not putting in any work. I see the guys in the locker room every day. I see how much work they put in. So just coming out with a disappointing loss like this, it hurts.
Let's flip this back on my buddy Kay, who hails from the Windy City area. How you feeling about that when a guy stands up after playing as he did and says, it hurts me more than it hurts you, who sat out there and spent the money?
Can I say the Chris Collinsworth answer of Tom Brady wouldn't do that? Tom Brady would get the ball out. Tom Brady would not put it on the fans and say that they are the ones who invest in the ticket. I would just urge Justin Fields. Granted, he was slipping and sliding out there and got that victory in the torrential downpour at Soldier Field week 1. But look at those fans that were out there taking it, standing, spending money, buying the beers, buying the $90 ponchos, and spending the $80 million on parking to get there. I would say mea culpa, maybe apologize, and maybe do something nice for fans and get back in their good graces, because that just was a comment that I just can't understand where it came from. But honest in his opinion. But I mean,
honest in his opinion, you're exactly right. But I think in context, let's see, 21, 22? He's been in the league for 15 minutes. You have Bears fans who are probably in their 80s and 90s who've been investing time and love, blood, sweat, tears into the Bob Avellini Bears and the Ditka Bears and every other kind of fashion of Bears that you could imagine, the Kyle Orton Bears. Come on.
All the Bears. Bernstein Bears, the Teddy Bears, all the Bears. You're so right.
So many Bears. All right, now it's time for what we have now launched. It's a brand new segment. It's called the K-Bomb. Oh, from the stands. I forgot about my poll. I was so excited about the K-Bomb. Here's my poll. Patriots take care of business on the road in Pittsburgh. How many ya-butts did you, dear fan, attach to the win? None. Great win. Let's flip and go. Just 7% of you. Barely any ya-butts from me. I was pretty encouraged. 25%. There were some ya-butts. I'm still pretty worried. And then outstripping the none was a lot. I'm disappointed and sad. Kay, have people weighed in with comments? They always do. Where's my mark?
They certainly have, yes. Mr. Andrews says, yeah, but no TJ Watt. Jones's arm looked weaker than it did last year. They got lucky on 2 punts. Their own that it wasn't a fumble or safety, and Gunners muffed one. Bourne is still somehow not getting enough snaps. Their tight ends are effective in the passing game, etc. How'd I do? Ed says, overall, happy with the resilience after a loss, so plenty of work needed on offense. Need a lot more from Devontae Parker and tight ends. Jake Hamilton says, barely any. Not sure the team is good enough yet this season to carp about the win. I think we should take wins at face value until they prove they can be legit contenders in a stacked AFC. And KOS says, still didn't score more than 20 points. It was Mitch Trubisky. Since when did 50-50 balls become an offense strategy? The passing to continue to open it up beyond 20 yards. Bill Belichick bought a little time. Where are the tight ends? Can y'all just enjoy the win?
It's kind of what I'm asking for.
How can we be?
It's kind of what I'm asking for. I mean, I'm hoping, and I'm not usually the guy who's looking for the silver lining, because I'm accustomed to a certain level of perfection out here, but we haven't seen it. So while we haven't seen it, enjoy these little incremental steps. Of course, you know Trey Lance was injured on basically a quarterback dive. Jimmy Garoppolo takes over. What now for the Niners? I said it last night on Early Edition, and I hate to because it sounds callous, but this is the best case scenario for a Super Bowl aspirant because Trey Lance wasn't going to get you there.
I don't know if he wasn't going to get you there, but obviously he has to evolve. If you have veterans like Joe Staley saying, get ready for rookie-like lumps from a guy who doesn't have a ton of college experience and certainly has less experience than Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, this was the smartest thing. They're geniuses, that brass. They took so much grief for this, but they're a Super Bowl contending team with either quarterback. One went down, and they have the best insurance plan in the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo comes in, he's all smiles. He wasn't the best. He was great. I talked to Collinsworth about it this morning, and he said, "Okay, you have to understand, he wasn't even participating in training camp or preseason, and he had the playbook for probably 3 weeks or 3 days or something. He wasn't as involved. They were giving all the looks and all the reps to Trey Lance. So give him a minute." And Collinsworth agrees with you that this is the best shot that they have to get as far as they can get.
It's wild to see the arc of all these second-year quarterbacks coming in now, isn't it? Whether it's Mac Jones having to probably take a step back as the coaching around him, Justin Fields elevates and he's getting used to the feel there. Trevor Lawrence had a good start. It's really interesting to watch all of these guys in their second years trying to step into the big boy shoes.
It certainly is. I mean, Trey's got consistency, though, right? He's got, Mac's got that too. Doesn't have McDaniels, though. But, that's sort of what matters with these guys. You look at Trevor, he's going from one system to the next. Like, imagine if he had this sort of stability for 2 years in a row. It just doesn't happen. Trey has that. He doesn't have the experience, and now he doesn't have his health. So that decision was made for them.
All right, Kay, I'll see you tomorrow morning on the Up and
Down. Come on my show tomorrow.
I will. I'll be there at 11. Promise. That's Kay.
Everybody watch. Come on in.
You're the best. Appreciate you. Coming up after the break, we're going to hit our risers and fallers, and we're also going to explain to you why you too should be clicking your heels over Sunday's victory in Pittsburgh. Growth Potential. It's brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. Check it out. First 2 weeks, the Patriots offensively. You can see it right there. It's all laid out for you, folks. Huh? No sacks, 1 win. 2 sacks, no wins. Turnovers, you got them, you lose them. You don't got many, you win. All right, that's a simple look at how things went. And here's Nelson Agholor, who scored a touchdown on Sunday, speaking about the progress made.
I hope that this game is a stepping stone towards where we're headed. I don't want this to be like, hey, this is our identity. I want it to be, okay, we see some good stuff, now let's get better from here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for my Slant. Watch out! And you know what? This is what I had as a headline. You see the date right there, September 12th, 2022. How did the Patriots get to the point of celebrating baby steps? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm backing off of that stance. I want you to celebrate some baby steps. Actually, these were bigger than baby steps taken in Pittsburgh. Look, the first week of the season, Bill Belichick was bragging about the fact the Patriots just had 2 bad plays and everything else was great. Actually, we had gone over the 56 different times, Bill said. We're not giving out little awards and medals for that, Bill. What you need is concrete progress from the disgraceful, absolutely tough to watch performance of your offense in the summer. And you know what? The Patriots got that when they went to Pittsburgh. They came out at the beginning of the game. They had, again, a nice offensive plan early in the game. Their first 2 drives coming out of halftime and coming out of the anthem were outstanding. And the best part of this win was the way they closed it. 6-minute drive to close things out with 3rd down conversions, wide zone runs, gap runs, and when they weren't converting earlier in the quarter of the 4th, they were getting 3 and outs. I'm not sure how good this Patriots team ultimately will be, but if after a couple months of using them as a piñata, we can't look at what they did and say, that's some validation for what you're doing, Bill, then I don't know what we're doing at all. All right, let's get now to some risers and fallers out of Sunday's game. We've got a few of them. First up, we're going to go with Trent Brown. And this is a guy called Trench Warfare. There's a whole mess of lineman stuff. Trent Brown was balling against the Steelers, legit difference maker at the end of the game as a run blocker too. And all this stuff is from videos that he had there, so don't worry about that. But suffice to say, Trent Brown went from the biggest liability on the Patriots offensive line to the biggest road grader, which is where he should go because he is their most talented offensive lineman. And yeah, when you are that good, that big, and that nimble, if you can show it, you can help clinch games. Next up among the risers, it's Cole Strange, the rookie first-round pick. A lot of people are saying, well, I guess the Patriots got that right. No one was saying Cole Strange couldn't play, or at least I wasn't. Most of us, or all of us, were saying, I don't know if Cole Strange was the guy you really had to take in the first round. Be that as it may, throughout the summer and now in the first 2 weeks of the season, the best thing about Cole Strange is he knows where to be. And going up against Cam Hayward Sunday in Pittsburgh, he more than held his own. Good work by him. Last up, Nelson Agholor. 6 catches on 6 targets, 100 yards. That's going to put the arrow up for Nelson Agholor, who had his best game as a Patriot. Again, another guy who had a very good camp, which goes to show that, generally speaking, camp is an indicator of how things will go when the regular season begins. Unless you're like the Patriots, you don't have a good camp, and then in week 2, you finally get things to start falling your way. We got risers, we got to have fallers. Jonnu Smith. Boy, it's been a tough road so far for the big fella. The tight end was not able to make a big impact in week 1, and now he's got 3 catches for 33 yards so far this season. Even on a designed little flip from Mac Jones out to Jonnu Smith the other day, it just looked muddled. Didn't look like anything was really drawn up for him that was going to get any damage done. Now, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers had scouted that well and sniffed it out, but the bottom line is he makes too much money and honestly has too much physical talent to be inconsequential on Sundays. Another guy who's got too much talent, who is, at this juncture, a faller, it's Devontae Parker. You saw a pick thrown to him in week 1. You saw another pick thrown to him in week 2. You saw an inability of Mac to get the ball to him on a back shoulder throw out to the sideline. I'm not sure if we're pinning that necessarily on those two guys not being on the same page, or maybe Mac Jones just not having the wing strength yet to get it out there. But either way, Devontae Parker, the Patriots are still trying to figure out how to use that particular toy. We'll keep an eye on that this week against Baltimore. And finally, old friend Josh McDaniels. He's a faller. We mentioned it. They are 0-2. And that was a very difficult performance to swallow for Josh McDaniels and the rest of the Las Vegas Raiders. You saw Kyler Murray. He only scrambled for about a minute and a half before he was able to convert a 2-point conversion. He also threaded one through to the ghost and the fossilized remains of A.J. Green to help secure a tie, and then Hunter Renfrow insisted on giving the ball over to the Cardinals for the Arizona Cardinals win. So, tough start for Josh out in Las Vegas. All right, we got trivia now. Check this out. Patriots play the Baltimore Ravens Sunday, and I ask you, and you're going to love this answer, where does Lamar Jackson rank on the all-time quarterback rushing list? I pose that question knowing that you're not going to know, but wait till I tell you just how high up he is already. You're going to have to wait until after the break. We'll see you in a second. We have Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times coming up after the break. Also a Baltimore Ravens reporter who's going to give you intel on them. Wednesday at 6 o'clock, tune in for the game plan. Tommy Giles will be joined by two-time Super Bowl champion and Patriots Hall of Famer Vince Wilfork. It's presented by your local New England Honda dealers. As referenced, we will talk a little bit about these Baltimore Ravens and just what in God's name happened when they saw the Dolphins. Ooh! Time now for the Inside Slant. We bring in Brent Harris from the Baltimore WBAL down in Baltimore to try and help us understand what in God's name happened to those Ravens that has Rex Ryan so irate. Bam!
Man, I wish I had an answer for that. It's left most people here in Baltimore a little bit guessing as to why it happened, because, Rex Ryan is correct. It is not the same defense we're used to seeing over the years. If you look back, Tom, at the Ravens' last 10 losses, going back to the beginning of last season, 5 of those have been fourth quarter comebacks that they've given up. That's just not acceptable. And I think, as you heard in John Harbaugh talking about, that, that they're going to have to figure out exactly how to close out games, because that's the biggest issue right now. The running game's struggling, the defense is struggling, And over the last 19 games, this is a pass defense that's given up the most yards in the NFL. And granted, some of their bigger players and Pro Bowl players have been beat up, and Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters are both on pitch counts in that game as they come back from injury. But still, it's no excuse. Even with young players, you can't let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle beat you over the top and not even have a man covering.
All right, that's from Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast, which dropped today. We also have Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times discussing Tom Brady and just where that guy's head seems to be at and how much he's changed since just 2.5 years ago when he showed up in Tampa. Oh, we got a trivia answer for you, and it's about Lamar Jackson. Where does Lamar rank on the all-time quarterback rushing list? In 60 games, this guy is in 6th place all time, 3,809 yards, 63.5 yards per game. Arguably the greatest running back and quarterback in NFL history? Yeah, he could be. And the Patriots have to deal with him Sunday. You have to deal with Trenny in just a second for early edition. Additionally, we got the next Pats podcast from Phil and Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast edition 2 on Thursday. Enjoy your week, getting ready for the Ravens. Patriots are 1-1. See you soon. Bye.